Hello and welcome to the penultimate episode of Lemon's Alphabet Advent Calendar. I am the host, Stealth Lemon, also known as Michael, and today we're going to be looking at UV. There's actually a good amount here. To be perfectly honest with you, you kind of think that these are a little bit more uncommon letters, but nope. I think that we got ourselves a good selection here. So why don't we just go ahead? The ticket to hearing about it is, hitting the subscribe button and liking the video. So, all right, now that I know that everybody watching this video has done that, I am going to go into my U game of the year, which is UFO 50. UFO 50 deserves this by a long shot. Holy cow, the value in this game is actually insane. Now, on the surface, it might be like, gosh, these are like the game's bad graphics, like $25. What is going on here? Well, first of all, if you're watching this as the advent calendar is going, it's on sale right now for $21.24. That's before tax, so you gotta, depending on where you live, it might be a little bit more. Sorry about you. But, no, these are 50 games. Like, don't get it twisted. This is 50 games, and they are all substantial in their length. Maybe not all of them are substantial, but most of them are very substantial, and it's almost like you're buying, I think even the way the game is gone is like you're buying an NES cartridge and you're like dusting it off, and this is like a collection of arcade games. Now, they're all made recently. It's kind of a ploy in terms of like what year it is, because it seats itself as like a collection that they like kind of found all these games lying around. That's like the lore, but they've been made a lot more recently, and I believe this is made by like the same guy that made Spelunky. So that's a good game, by the way, because it's a roguelike, right? So, but anyway, UFO 50. I have not even cracked as much as I want to into the 50 games, but I already know that this is choice and this is some quality stuff. Beautiful couch experience. Half of the games have like multiplayer, like local multiplayer. Like, it's insane. Like the way that they're like going out of their way to really, they're combining a lot of retro games, and I can't overstate this, with modern like players in mind. So there's not like as much of like really annoying stuff. There's a good amount of information. Things don't feel like grindy. There's like I Spy games in there. There's like soccer. There's freaking like a Ridge Racer ripoff. There's like a strategy game that's almost like it's like those mobile games where you send people or whatever. Like it's honestly insane, and all sorts of genres are represented. So you're gonna find something you like, and then once you find something you like, you could play it for hours. So like, it's a $25 game, yes, or $20. Again, if you get it on sale, which it is, and it's really good. But Balatro came out, but if Balatro wasn't out, I think UFO 50 definitely would have won some more awards at the Game Awards in terms of being like an indie game, like best indie game and all that stuff. So that is my U game of the year. In terms of our honorable mentions, there were a few games that I played this year that are actually really good. Let's start out with Ultimate Chicken Horse. It's funny because they actually, I believe, just announced a sequel called Ultimate Sheep Raccoon, which is more of like a bicycle game where you like make the course on bicycles. That sounds cool. But no, playing like a Mario Maker mixed with, Stardew Valley. That's a joke, by the way. It's not. Playing like a Mario Party version of a platform is very fun and very accessible for a lot of people. I know it can get pretty frustrating, especially if you feel like you don't have the skills to pay the bills. But a lot of multiplayer games nowadays, people like to get pretty sweaty on it. And again, it's generally a pretty cheap purchase. It's usually like $5 when it's on sale. So I would get yourself some Ultimate Chicken Horse and become the ultimate snake or squirrel or whatever animal has been added. Elephant or chicken. Who knows? You can be the ultimate chicken. Speaking of ultimate chickens, how about we talk about some Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, baby. This game is still the king. Holy cow. This is one of the best fighting games ever made. I can't not have a U thing and not mention Marvel 3. The Marvel Fighting Collection has, I think, breathed, whatever, new life into the Marvel vs. Capcom series. And Marvel 3 is definitely one of the most popular ones for good reason, because again, it is phenomenal. It's like $8 right now. If you like fighting games, this has to be something that you played. You know, it's a 3v3. It's a little bit tricky, but it isn't tricky as you might think. This was actually the first fighting game I really took seriously and like started playing like a lot, like hundreds of hours at this point. The only thing is that, again, like the online isn't the best, but there are ways around that using Parsec and like talking to people on Discord, or, you know, just playing with your friends. Me? Fight me? You can do that. I dare you. So the next one, in terms of violence that we're going to be talking about in our last honorable mention for you, is going to be ULTRAKILL. This was almost the one thing that set off the whole retro craze that I've been talking about throughout this series. ULTRAKILL is a really, really cool, it's more of a Quake clone than anything, but it's definitely a movement-oriented shooter where it's kind of mixed with Devil May Cry, I guess, in that you're really looking to make stylish combos and chaining a lot of things together, and the game is pretty difficult. There's a lot of DLC. I think the game is technically still in early access because I don't know. Like, look what's on the screen. It's blowing up. And things are blowing up. You have railguns, there are augments. There's a really catchy freaking shop tune, and that's really what's important. Mankind is dead, blood is fuel, and hell is full. So that is ULTRAKILL. Moving on to V. Again, we have a surprising amount in V, so some noobs might not have anything. Noob. So let me educate you with some VR chat. Yeah, VR chat technically is a game that's on here. I will be honest that I think that you can have interactions with random people online, and it can legitimately put it in the running for Game of the Year. Like VR chat, it's sort of like the same sort of community that you could find in like community servers on Gmod. Like there are groups of people that will play it, but like you also just run into like the most random people, and they have the most unhinged like skins. I know, again, like it seems like a lot of games that I talk about, especially that are all like online, have some sort of like controversy behind it, but when I played it recently in like the last October, it still seemed fine in terms of like mod support. At one point they were like gonna take away like your ability to add like modded stuff, mainly because of like copyrighted things. I'm really glad that they like figured it out. The main game that we played on VR chat was like you have to act out a scene and there'd be like a teleprompter and you had to say it, but obviously you can improvise, and there's like an audience that like voted or whatever, like who was the best one or something like that. There's just a lot of creative ideas, and plus, you know, you can play free versions of other games like, you know, Among Us. So yeah, that's VR chat. I won't dwell on that too much. The next one is Victoria 3. I just feel like I have to mention Victoria 3. I've not played Victoria 3. It looks cool. The graphics look better than a lot of other Paradox games. It launched and a lot of people didn't seem to like it too much, but hey, at least they have a view of the map that doesn't look terrible, that you're looking at a PNG of a map. but I'm pretty sure that most people that are going to be playing Victoria 3 are going to be looking at a PNG of a map and, you know, nation states and districts and borders or whatever getting different colors and funny names on the country. It's fun if you can get into it, but you got to be one of those nerds that gets into it. So it seems great. I would love to learn how to play it whenever I feel like learning how to play a game. Our runner-up would be Viscera Cleanup Detail. This is a pretty old game, but to my knowledge, it still has a big audience, and I believe they're making a sequel, so that's pretty exciting. The idea is that some other person has just made the level that you're in the result of like a first-person shooter. So they're shooting everybody, gibbing people, making a bunch of explosions and bullet holes, mainly blood, you know, blowing up barrels, whatever. And what your job is to clean it up. This is fantastic. This is more of an ad, I guess, to people that I know are going to be watching this, that this game is a banger, and I would love to just run around and be cleaning up like a space station with buddies. It's $4 right now. Like, come on, guys, please. No, but it definitely deserves a lot of praise. It's also easy to mess up, which I think is just really funny too. Like, if you step in a big pile of blood, like, you will have blood footprints that will keep showing up. If you dirty up your mop too much, it will eventually just start spreading blood, so you have to go and get another bucket into the incinerator. There's a lot of like trife, but I think that that's like one of the relaxing things about it. I mean, very similar to this would be like Power Wash Simulator. It's almost like a predecessor is a predecessor to that. But you know, there's also like a little mystery to solve, so you can like record who the names of the people were that died, and you have to record how many times they were shot. It's to a pretty extreme amount, but yeah, definitely love this as a sort of like sandbox game. Just fix up the base after the protagonist leaves, and you're there. All right, our game of the year. It's Steam Deck game. It was very popular last year. Guess what? It's game of the year this year. Vampire Survivors. Vampire Survivors. Woo! Let's do it. So Vampire Survivors. I'm hoping that this footage is gonna look okay, but you're basically walking around and you're selecting items to get your character as you kill people, and you get the gems to level yourself up. I don't know why this game flow works so well. I think that the developers of this game literally had to have hired a scientist that like lives in Las Vegas, because as soon as you see that chest going off and all the lights, you know, Vampire Survivors does a really good job of making you feel like you're really one big and that you're barely fighting for your life, but then you get like a one lucky break and then suddenly like you're absolutely like melting everybody. But it's still a really hard game, at least in my opinion. Maybe I just haven't figured out builds or whatever yet. I've only really beaten it with a handful of characters. It's an excellent couch game, Steam Deck game, game to play on the toilet or whatever, because I think it's on mobile now as well. I just think that it's a no-brainer. So that's a dog. So with that, I'm going to give our V's a close. Vampire Survivors is the V game of the year. Let me know what your V game of the year is. And I will see you tomorrow for the finale. Yes, there's only one more day, and we're doing 4 letters to specially mark it. So I will see you in the finale of the Advent Calendar. See ya.